If you looked at the daily schedule of Charles Darwin, the man who fundamentally changed our understanding of life on Earth, you would probably call him lazy. He worked for 2 90-minute blocks in the morning and then he stopped. He went for walks. He took naps. He sat in his drawing room staring into space. By modern standards, Darwin would be fired. We live in a world that has confused busyness with effectiveness. You feel that crushing wave of guilt when you're staring at the ceiling because you've been programmed to believe that motion equals progress. But neuroscience and history tell a completely different story. There is a hidden architecture to how genius works. It's a concept called high-efficiency processing. Today, we are going to dismantle the guilt you feel. We are going to look at 7 specific behaviors that society labels as lazy, rude, or unfocused, and prove that they are actually clear indicators that your brain is operating at an elite level. And I want you to pay close attention to habit number 6, because it's the one behavior that most people think is a sign of a mental breakdown, when it's actually a sign of peak cognitive performance. Let's start with the one that probably plagues you the most. Habit number 1, strategic procrastination. You know the feeling. The deadline is looming, but instead of working, you're reorganizing your bookshelf or watching a documentary. You feel terrible. You tell yourself you have no discipline. But Adam Grant, an organizational psychologist, found something incredible. He surveyed hundreds of people and found that procrastinators, people who rush to finish things immediately, actually score lower on creativity than people who procrastinate moderately. Why? It's called the Zeigarnik effect. When you start a task and then stop, your brain keeps that task open in the background. It's running simulations while you are doing the dishes or walking the dog. Here's the ultimate proof. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't write the "I Have a Dream" speech weeks in advance. He was tweaking it up until the very last minute. In fact, the phrase "I have a dream" wasn't even in his prepared notes. Because he had delayed finalizing the speech, his brain was open to improvisation in the moment. When Mahalia Jackson shouted from the crowd, "Tell them about the dream, Martin," he was able to pivot. If he had been efficient and finished the script a week early, history might look very different. You aren't avoiding work, you are waiting for the breakthrough. But having the idea is one thing. Doing the work is another. This brings us to habit 2, the efficiency instinct. Do you hate repetitive, mundane tasks? Do you find yourself getting irrationally angry when a process takes 3 clicks instead of 1? Bill Gates famously said, "I choose a lazy person to do a hard job, because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it." In the world of computer programming, this is actually a virtue. The creator of the Perl programming language, Larry Wall, stated that the 3 great virtues of a programmer are laziness, impatience, and hubris. If you are constantly looking for shortcuts, you aren't lazy. You have high pattern recognition. Your brain is calculating the energy-to-output ratio. While others are satisfied with the status quo, your brain perceives the inefficiency as pain. You are wired to innovate because you are wired to conserve energy. So stop forcing yourself to grind through the hard way. Your desire for the easy way is exactly what the world needs. Now let's talk about your environment. Look around you right now. Is your desk a mess? If you have piles of papers, random coffee cups, and open books everywhere, your family probably tells you to get your life together. But research from the University of Minnesota, led by Kathleen Voss, challenges this. She put participants in 2 rooms, one tidy, one messy. She asked them to come up with new uses for ping pong balls. The result? The people in the messy room came up with significantly more creative and novel ideas. The theory is that a disorderly environment helps you break free from tradition. Visual chaos encourages your brain to make random connections between unrelated things. Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, and Mark Twain all worked in chaos. If a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, then what is an empty desk a sign of? But what about when you're not working at all? What about when you're just staring? Habit number 4 is zoning out. In school, you were scolded for daydreaming. In meetings, you force yourself to focus. But neuroscience shows that when you stop focusing on the outside world, a specific neural network activates, the default mode network, DMN. Think of this as your brain's night shift. When you stop feeding your brain data, it starts processing data. It connects your past memories with your future goals. It simulates social interactions. It solves problems that your conscious mind couldn't crack. This is why you get your best ideas in the shower, or while driving, or right before you fall asleep. You didn't get that idea despite being lazy. You got that idea because you let your focus drift. If you are 100% focused 100% of the time, You are literally blocking your brain's ability to connect the dots. This leads us to the biggest conflict with the modern 9 to 5. Do you feel guilty because you can't sit at a computer for 8 hours straight? Do you work in intense bursts for 2 hours and then feel like you need a nap? Congratulations, you are biologically normal. We all know about circadian rhythms, our 24-hour sleep cycle. But we also have ultradian rhythms. These are energy cycles that occur roughly every 90 to 120 minutes while we are awake. Your brain can only sustain high-frequency output for about 90 minutes. After that, your body sends you signals: hunger, drowsiness, fidgeting. This isn't a lack of discipline, it's a biological wall. Elite violinists, grandmaster chess players, and professional athletes practice in bursts. They don't practice for 8 hours, they practice deeply for 90 minutes, then they detach. If you are a burst worker, stop trying to be a marathon runner. You'll get more done in 3 90-minute sprints than most people do in a 10-hour day of distracted, low-energy work. Habit number 6, talking to yourself. Maybe you pace around your kitchen having full arguments with yourself. Maybe you mutter while you're trying to fix something. In psychology, this is known as external processing. It is a powerful cognitive tool. When you keep a thought in your head, it remains abstract and fluid. When you force yourself to speak it out loud, you are forced to give it structure, grammar, and logic. Software developers have a technique called rubber duck debugging. When their code is broken, they explain the code line by line to a rubber duck sitting on their desk. By simply vocalizing the problem, they usually find the solution without the duck saying a word. You aren't losing your mind. You are using your voice as an external hard drive to upgrade your processing power. And finally, habit number 7. This is the one that separates the successful from the truly elite: extreme selectivity, or to put it bluntly, being unhelpful. We are taught to say yes. Yes to the meeting, yes to the coffee chat, yes to the favor. But if you look at the most productive minds in history, they were notoriously inaccessible. Warren Buffett said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." There is a concept in economics called opportunity cost. Every time you spend an hour on a low-value task to be nice, you are destroying an hour that could have been used for your highest value work. People might think you're lazy because you won't help move a couch or join a committee. But you aren't avoiding effort. You are guarding your mental energy like it's a finite resource, because it is. So here's the truth. The guilt you feel about doing nothing is the biggest obstacle to your potential. That guilt keeps you in a state of low-level anxiety that prevents true rest and true focus. Your procrastination is incubation. Your messy desk is a creativity engine. Your laziness is efficiency. The next time you catch yourself staring at the ceiling or saying no to a request or working in a short burst, don't apologize. You're not malfunctioning, you're optimizing. Now, if you got value from this video, like it and subscribe to our channel.